This Perp back with another video, and I just got done watching this brand new K-drama on Netflix called A Killer Paradox, and boy, was this something special. This was a really dope series. Now, I'm going to try to just talk about the more important things about this series and specific characters. There's 4 characters I kind of want to talk about in this review. If you haven't seen this yet, come back, then check out this review, because I'm definitely going to tap into those spoilers, so you've been warned. So, we got our main character here to the left, one of our main characters, Lee Tong, or Tong, however you pronounce it. He is just like your everyday kind of person working his 9 to 5. And now imagine that you just working your 9 to 5. You're not as social, you don't got as many friends. You're kind of looked at as weak, or people just don't really take you serious. Then you're walking home one day, and the same people at your job, these customers kind of give you a hard time, and you get into this altercation, which happens to Tong here. He gets in an altercation with this guy. Doesn't notice that there's another guy that's dead, but he gets into it with this one guy, and he ends up killing him in self-defense. But here's the interesting thing, right? A couple things. Originally, the weapon that he had was a hammer, and how they set that up was really dope, because in the beginning of the series, he gets this like painting or this thing, whatever he wants to hang up, but he has no hammer, so he tries to borrow one from his job. Hence why he ends up having to use that on this guy that's kind of just harassing him, hitting him and stuff like that, and ends up killing him. And then he's pretty much freaked out by it, because he's like, man, I just killed somebody. I don't know what to do. This lady with a dog that seems to be blind walks by. We'll get back to that very shortly. He thinks nothing of it. He just stays still, because she's like, oh, she probably can't see me. She's blind. He goes off. He runs off, and he's just kind of in shock at this point. Come to find out, the person that he killed was also a serial killer, So this is what this show is about, is Tong starts to go on these strings of murders, but he's not just murdering random people. He's killing people that pretty much deserve it. Like I was talking about, that blind woman that he thought was blind was really not blind. She tries to extort him for like 2 million won a month. He ends up killing her, and then we find out she actually has her parents buried in her backyard and stuff, and very, very weird circumstances where, Tong is very messy, but because of his luck of whatever kind of ability he has, you know what I'm saying? If it's just luck or just coincidence, that no evidence ever really traces back to him until we get introduced to Detective Zhang, which he's our second main character in this. And I really like his kind of performance in this, where he is introduced to you as this kind of laid back, nonchalant type of detective, but he tries to figure this out, because he's just like, there's something weird, but he's hell bent on trying to take down Tong throughout this whole entire series, and he also has a very interesting story that ties really well with all these different characters and whatnot. So as Tong is going through these different murders, and I just like how they set those up in each episode, where each episode kind of feels like it's disjointed. By the time you get to the end of the episode, they kind of bring everything together. You see certain people being targeted, just really nasty things people have been doing to other people, and why Tong is taking it upon his own hands to kind of bring his own justice to these people. But as these murders keep piling on, it's just more pressure on Detective Jung and just the whole department there, because they can't figure out who's who. Now, there's a third character that's very important in this, that kind of brings everything together. Is this character that goes by the name of Robin. Yes, like Robin. He is pretty much this kind of hacker nerd that has kind of orchestrated everything, even manipulating Tong at this point, but also kind of gaining his respect, and they end up building up a friendship in some type of way, because he sees him as like different. He sees that he could be that Batman and he could be his Robin, even though he's more like Alfred, or you know what I'm saying, just because he has the money. So he's like, anything you got, like everything you need, I got like 500 million won. Anything you need, I got you, bro. We could do this together. I got all these different case files. So then, as things kind of get even more and more difficult for the police to kind of track Tong down and to see what's really going on, another big character emerges. I would say he's really the big villain or antagonist of this series. His thing goes by Sung Chang or Chang. He originally was a cop, and his story was very fascinating, and he's probably one of the best characters of this series, just because not only he has a connection to Robin, that was like his first kind of Batman that kind of went rogue because he killed the wrong person, so he kind of had to sever ties. But what makes him come out of hiding is the fact that Tong is out here able to get away with these murders and being looked at as like a hero, and he just wants to question what makes him so much better than him. And once you get his backstory, you learn that he's the type of person or character that started off good. He believed in law enforcement. Like, he truly looked up to these people in his precinct, and this is where him and Detective John's like kind of story kind of clash, because of who his father is and who his mother is. And when Detective learns more about his father and what he was involved with, a lot of corruption, and his mom not being really faithful, like, that was really dope. And he just snapped. He just snapped. He's the reason why he put his father in a coma and stuff like that. Really fucking dope writing and visuals throughout this whole entire series, for it only being 8 episodes long. Each one is almost about an hour long. I really like this series. I just like how all these stories interconnect. It definitely gave me Death Note vibes, minus the Death Note, because you definitely have that light and L kind of energy coming from Tong and the detective. And I like Robin's character, where he's just the middleman. He's the one that pretty much orchestrated everything from the very jump. Got Tong and Jung like to clash one another, and I really like that. I don't know if they're going to do a second season. It doesn't seem like this needs a second season. It's cool as like a one-off, but I really dug this series, and just how different people kind of perceive justice, whether that is doing it the right way by the law or getting justice through violence. And I just like all the different themes, all the different characters. The visuals are really dope. Very well shot series overall. Definitely would watch this again. Like I said, I don't think they're going to make a second season. Don't feel like it's really necessary. But I like how storylines get wrapped up. Characters that need to die. And it just leaves you with a very complete story. All these interconnected stories have their ups and downs, and they have their conclusions. So yeah, really dug this series. Really liking these K-dramas that are coming out on Netflix. They're absolutely fire. But that's just kind of my thoughts on this series as a whole. I just wanted to kind of focus on those 4 characters because they're the most important. If you do get around to checking this out, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.